All right. All right. So just so you know, we record the session for those who can't make it, and we post it on our YouTube page. So first of all, welcome everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to the start of 2023. It's wonderful that each week, each month, you know, we're getting to meet different people as the membership's growing. We've called this month's session the Voice of the Members, and we'd like to look at it predominantly to hear from yourselves, and in terms of, as we prepare for 2023, what would you like to see from the Institute? I've got a few slides that I'm just going to share. So let me just set that up. Here we go. All right. So just give me a second to get this organized. There we go. All right. So to the newer members, we tend to just do I'm going to keep a very brief update for today, but we always start with an update. As I said, the focus of this month is the voice of the members, and we'll have a group discussion on a couple of questions. So quick update. The first one is that it's our birthday. The Institute turns 3 today. Well, not literally today, this month. We started it in January 2020, Antonio and myself. You know, for those, the backstory is Antonio and I, we met on the speaking circuit in the Middle East. We shared a passion to help leaders fill the missing gap of not just being able to craft strategy, but also implement it. And then we spent 2.5, 3 years designing, developing, and building the course. And then we launched it like a few weeks before the official pandemic started. But obviously being virtual, we were able to sustain and grow. And, you know, I'm delighted this is now the 3rd year. Last year, some of the highlights, Antonio published his book about 9 months ago on the Project Management Handbook with Harvard, which was extremely well received. And then about 4 or 5 months after that, in September, we published the body of knowledge that we've called the Strategy Implementation Playbook. And for the members, once you finish your course, we don't own the platform, so we can't give you access afterwards. And we appreciate that you may want one of the frameworks or the tools or an article that you read on the course. So the handbook is there after you finish to be able to support and give you the material you need. The price is expensive on Amazon. It's $100 US, and we discount it for members if they wanted a printed copy. But the good news is, for those who take the course, you receive the electronic version. So, you know, very much looking more and more being sustainable. So we only do print on demand through Amazon, and the electronic version you receive. So Morris, for example, you should have got your copy when your onboarding email last month. So this is one of the value adds from last year. Quick update. We've crossed over the 400 members. We had another member join, just see if they're on, no, another member join us today. We just registered. So the membership continues to grow. Our first 2 fellows, we launched the fellowship last year. So what's the difference between a SIP, a strategy implementation professional, and the fellowship? To become a strategy implementation professional, it's based on your knowledge. You go through the course, you sit the exam, it's about your understanding. The fellowship demonstrates your ability. It focuses on the doing. So this is working on an implementation plan. So scoping it out, implementing it, and then showing the results. Casey and GT were our first two fellows from last year. We already have fellows lined up for this year. It is a limited number each point because each fellow will receive either Antonio or myself as a mentor through the process. So we also, look at it to get to know each person better and share more and more with them. To date, we have over 120 SIPs. The pass rate is around 87%, and we're delighted it continues to grow. And as you can see, members from Botswana to New Zealand, to the Philippines, to the USA, to the UK. I missed out South America. We have Brazil, Argentina, we have the Caribbean, we have Malaysia, Indonesia. So very much growing as we start to build. Today's session, we've got about half a dozen of us on the call. So we'll do maybe a paired discussion. And we want to hear from you. Being January, we're putting together the plans for the year ahead. This year, we will be hosting the conference, for example. We'd like to get support around the body of knowledge in terms of volunteers to help continue to develop the course and content. So we have a few things that we've already planning, but we want to step back, being January, and to hear from our members. So the first question is, what greater value would you like the Institute to offer you in 2023? Now you'll see I worded that very carefully, assuming, of course, we already give you great value. Question is, how can we provide greater value for the Institute? So what I'm going to suggest we do is, if you're comfortable, we've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got about 6 or 7 on the call. How about if I give you an opportunity to go into a paired discussion, and that will allow you to network and meet somebody else and just share, so about 3 minutes each. So we'll do it for 6 minutes, your thoughts about where the Institute can add greater value. Okay. And I'm delighted to say that I've not been using Zoom for a few months. I've gone back to face-to-face teaching. So I've actually gone a bit rusty. Here we go. We got the breakouts now. Okay, so we'll just do 3 rooms. The question is, 6-minute discussion. How can introduce yourselves, meet each other in a paired room, and then how can the Institute add greater value in the year ahead? Would that be okay? Just give me a thumbs up if that's all right. Thanks, guys. All right, here we go. And the rooms are open. So we had 2 rooms, Claudette, Larry inside, and Evelina, Hannah, and Morris. So who would like to go first? Love to hear your thoughts. Welcome, Antonio and I do, and the Institute to offer you greater value in the year ahead.
You want to bring it up, Evelina?
Yeah, happy to. Thank you, Morris. We're very much in alignment, Robin, and we were discussing how unless people are in the field of strategy or concentrate on seeking the information, they're not really seeing or acknowledging their skills gap. And we were thinking about not just how the Institute can bring values to us, but how can we help to spread the value. And our thought process is that we would love to bring the knowledge closer to people and relate it to them better, because sometimes they think, oh, we're not the Big Four, it doesn't apply to us, because maybe we're an SME or a small organization. So our thoughts are and around, could we support the Institute in bringing the knowledge to businesses through supporting the Institute and putting on local events? or local talks or LinkedIn conversations that we could become the ambassadors for. So that's one way of thinking about it. Obviously, we would need support and we would need oversight, but how can we feed it to people, especially those who need it, but they don't know they need it?
Yeah, they don't yet know what they don't know.
Exactly.
No, lovely suggestion. So people can become the ambassadors and they can start to help people understand, because as you quite rightly said, they don't know yet that they don't know how to implement, and they keep repeating the same mistakes. Okay, very creative suggestion. Love it. Thank you. Anything else on it, or just that one? That was the focus? Okay, I just want to see if there's something else I didn't know. Okay, so thank you for sharing, Rina. How about Claudette or Larry or Said?
Okay, go ahead, Sai.
Said, do you want to go?
No, you go. So
I was yielding to you because I tend to talk a lot, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
okay, I will finish this. We would like from the institute, actually, if that's the greater value we think it's needed at this point, is to continue providing us with the articles and the searches and studies within this area of profession. Also, if there is any practical use and we can put it in use for the campus model. Mainly, also we mention if we can have a forum on the website itself where we can share our experiences and we share our obstacles, if there is any, or any new ways of or working new ways of implementing such strategies and things. I will also elaborate on how we can be an ambassador to the institute itself. I think mainly, like here, I live in Saudi Arabia, and in the Middle East, there are lots of organizations that they would love to spend on training, but in-class training. So how can we provide a training, in-class training here in Saudi Arabia or in Middle East in whole? Also, you know, the leaders, most of the leaders who are implementing strategy, they don't have enough time or the time to put in study where we can, I'm thinking how we can do a crash course, something that we can give it within 3 to 5 days, but it's fully full days. That's mainly what I'm thinking about at this point and with the groups.
Said, I like your optimism of thinking you'll get 3 to 5 days with groups.
That's all what they're gonna give us. Like they wouldn't stay for longer at all. Like, but
I'm impressed. You think they'll stay for 3 to 5 days? Normally, it used to be 5 days. Now it's 4. Then it was 3. Now it's 2. Now it's what can you do in half a day? Oh, sorry. Let me pause before see if Claudette or Morris want to add anything. Okay. So it's interesting that the synergy between the two groups. I love the branding and the suggestion, the Institute ambassadors, and covering both the feedback, events where members can become ambassadors and, you know, can start to spread. I think it's I think we can start to make this go viral both through physically and virtually. Is a wonderful suggestion, because the purpose of the Institute is to grow the implementation capabilities among leaders across the world. And to hear you give us the feedback that you're happy to do this and people will step up and be ambassadors is fantastic. So I think this is something very realistically we can make happen. To continue the knowledge content, that absolutely, that is something we already do. Last year, we launched the members page, and on the members page, even whether you're a member, finished the course or going through the course, whenever we update the course, any new articles are complimentary to everyone. So whether a video or a TED talk or an article Antonio and I publish or whatever, we do include that, and we'll continue that very much because implementation is growing, especially with the impact of sustainability in digital. So we continue to provide more support around that. To the other two items, the forum on the website, I also think is a lovely suggestion. It made me smile because it was one of the initial discussions Antonio and I had, but then we realized we needed a critical mass before you can have the discussions. So thank you for the prompt there. We will revisit it and look and see if that's feasible on our current platform. I think the forum's a wonderful continuation. The SIP course itself, we chose the platform we use because you have to contribute and discuss to the learning as you go through. And that will just carry over and fit very nicely into the forum. And then the fourth item that I made a note, the in-class training, is also a lovely suggestion. Antonio and I, we do offer the, if people want us to come personally in to teach the SIP course, we're willing to do. To do it to offer it as a product is something that wouldn't be too difficult to then extend that. So absolutely, that'd be something we can do as well. So in other words, everything you suggested is absolutely feasible, and we will look forward, look at it in the next few weeks.
Robin, I just wanted to add the point about the strategy canvas, the canvas map, and some practical ways that sessions on, like, showing us examples of how it was used would be helpful as well. I know we did speak to that. And also the fellows, is there any opportunity to use the fellows to spread some of the workload for some of these sessions that might be additional to the monthly meetings?
So let me take your second point first. So the fellowship is just launched, so the numbers are only 2 at the moment. So Gita in the UK and Casey's in Singapore. So it's probably a little bit early from that perspective. We get a few more and we start to build a tribe among the fellows. So I'd say it's probably a little early on that because we're only tapping into a couple of people. But certainly if you're, for Singapore or London, I'm sure they would step up and assist. I think for the canvas, we might have a disconnect in the community. Are you meaning Sir, or are you talking about the project canvas that Antonio published?
Correct. The project canvas. The tools in the book, but I'll just use that as an example, but the tools in the book that it's worth revisiting, seeing actual examples of, talking them through would be helpful.
Okay, so the tools in action. There we go. Got it. Yeah, absolutely. I've added that to the list. And Saeed, you wanted to add? Thank you, Claudette. Sorry. Thank you. Saeed, you were going to add something?
Yes, I was thinking what I meant with the in-class training also. Can we, and that would help a lot in being an ambassador for the institute itself and to spread the word of the institute. If some of who's been certified strategy implementation professional, or either the fellowship after to be a licensed training provider, that will help a lot, because also we'll deliver or we'll change the language of the package itself, because not still language is not a universal one language that we all speak, and some of the people, they would like it in Arabic or other language. Also some of the examples happening in the area that people are familiar with, and that's where the training can provide insight in that.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And, we've worked very hard to give universal examples, but I appreciate, which part of the kingdom are you in? Are you in Riyadh or Jeddah? Where are you?
I am in Riyadh, actually, yes.
In Riyadh, yeah. So, when I come Riyadh, actually, just so you know, the Institute was born in Riyadh.
I know. I think I've joined you guys in the launching the institute with Dr. Saeed Adra or something. I think
Yeah, Saeed
he
does it.
started something or forum, and that was before the pandemic, maybe 2 or 3
There we
months.
go.
Yes, I remember. It was cheaper then, and I bought the course with expensive price. You were asking people to join.
Okay, so yeah, that was an event Antonio did. I wasn't there, but he went.
If you allow me, just the last one. If
Please.
the institute can also provide its consultancy through their certified professionals and through you, how they can help in consultancy services to some of the entities around the world. So it's going to be grouping. Yep.
Yeah, no, I like the thinking. It's kind of ironic because, you know, we set it up virtually, but we are getting pulled more and more into the in-person, and certainly to follow the ambassadors route, there's absolutely no reason why, you know, it'd be very easy to translate the course into a train the trainer. And we typically, Antonio and I have both done it for clients. We try to keep it to 2 days. We tend to find that today, that's kind of the max you'll get a team for, or maybe 2+1. But, you know, 2 days is how we tend to design it. So it is a bit tight, but that, you know, if we're doing a license program, certainly we'll have a look at that. But just to manage expectations, that will be something that will take longer, because we'll make sure we do it right with the supporting material, the videos, the content. Okay. Any other inputs? Any other thoughts before I go forward? Okay. Let me take us to the next question. I'm so delighted that I'm rusty using Zoom. Okay, here we go. So one of the things last year, we started to introduce speakers and consultants and leaders from our network. We had presentations from the new fellows. So the second question, we'll do a breakout for about the same time, 6-7 minutes, is focusing specifically on the monthly meetings. What would you like to see covered? So this is an opportunity to brainstorm, and I'll follow this up on the LinkedIn to get other members who aren't able to attend today. So the question is, what topics would you like to see on the agenda for 2023? Last year we had, you know, a few different speakers who just, you know, focused on specific topics. So very straightforward. What topics would you like covered in the monthly meetings? Shall we keep it easy and we'll go to the same breakout rooms? Be all right? Okay, so here we go, 7 minutes, brainstorm on which topics you would like.
A couple of points, and then I'll rely on my colleagues to fill in anything I miss. Basically, the bottom line is we like the idea of expert presentations, experiences, successes, lessons learned during monthly meetings, and then an opportunity to find out more about it and build on that. One of the suggestions came out was that anytime there's a presentation, and you probably may be already planning to do this if you already haven't done it with the membership page, is in a written presentation, a condensed thumbnail be presented so that we get exposed to the audio visual, and then we have a chance to absorb it a little bit deeper and then have contact information for following up. And then the other challenge we discussed was as you know, Robin, I've been in some of the larger sessions, when there's 20 or 30 members, the challenge to have a really good, fruitful exchange and contact development session is greater than. For example, tonight we have the luxury, the same 3 people, 6 minutes, we get to share a little bit more each time. So one of our points was, how can we have that happen during the other monthly meetings as well, is to have that dialogue. And I know, you know, you had your little bit early start to do that. And when people can do that and take advantage of it. And one of the ideas that came up was maybe during the, in the Zoom format for the meeting, I've been involved in webinars where the chat was enabled so that if I had a question for Claudette, and you were moving on to a different subject, but Claudette said something really related to mine that didn't relate to anybody else, I could direct the message to her real quick, say, hey, Claudette, let's link up later. What do you think? Can you share this with me? And then that way it gives the discussion legs. It doesn't end. And then it doesn't leave me writing notes to myself. How do I find out more about this? So those are, I think, the three main points out of that. And I defer to Saad and Claudette if I missed anything.
Larry, quick question. So, I mean, as I said, I'm delighted I'm getting rusty on Zoom, but can you not directly chat already?
I tried today and it wouldn't enable me to. So maybe that's a function of something, like you said, I haven't used Zoom for a while. Maybe I missed something, but I tried just a minute ago. I see two options, everyone and Robin, and I don't see anybody else.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Claudette. How are you?
The one thing, the other point that Saad made was rather we could post, once we know the topic, rather we could send questions in advance so that the topic is kind of designed towards what people are interested in.
Love it. Yep.
Saad, did I cover everything? With Claudette's help, of course.
There we go. Yeah,
Yes,
no, Claudette, I like that. We can customize it then. It helps the presentation, whether it's a member or a specialist. Thank you. Saad, sorry, you were about to say something? You're on mute.
Good, yes. I'm waiting for Morris to...
Okay, so Morris.
Okay.
Thanks, Saad.
Yes.
Shukran. Yep, Morris.
We started off, we didn't have a lot of monthly meetings seen. We actually did see the November one, Evelina and myself, from David Isaacs, which was for us mind-blowing in the sense that it was really practical on how you can do digital transformation. And we actually talked about cutting the big elephant in pieces. Yeah. Because we come with all this knowledge, and the majority of the people say, "Yeah, I'm not Apple, I'm not Toyota, I don't even perceive that. I'm just a small medium business. Cut the crap. What are we going to do, and how we are going to do it?" So, in practical sense, how can we do the how on the whole sphere? We know culture is the most difficult one to break, but how do you break culture? What tools do you have? What examples did someone use? I can remember one of your keynotes on Microsoft challenges. You used posters. That was a good idea to get people engaged. You know, if we would have more of these practical hows on the full rows, that would make it much more adaptable also for smaller companies, because not of all the companies that we speak will be the big four. Yeah. The majority will small, medium enterprises.
No, I love it. You know, and I've summarized it, Morris, this way, that it's practical tips to some of the common challenges. Yeah. So I mean, on the course, you know, we aim to provide you as many as possible, but of course that's static. And as we go forward, new challenges. Somebody was talking earlier about, you know, like the project canvas that Antonio introduced in his book. As we introduce new tools, new methodologies, not just introduce them, but also how they're being used, and then tips and techniques for them. Yep. Excellent. Great suggestion.
And something we didn't have in the room because we finished, but just a quick word on AI. Anything more about AI that we can continue introducing into our daily work? I'm not talking about introducing big systems that companies may not want to procure, but those little things that we can start implementing. And I say the way we work at the moment, because of the skills gap, we often work incognito. So we're like, those little angels that are moving around the business, trying to help them understand what they don't understand and so forth. So I'm talking about AI that can help us do that more effectively, and that we could do at low cost and bring quick benefits to the organization that we're operating within.
Okay, Helena, that's an interesting one for a couple of reasons. I fully understand. It's probably, I mean, for example, what I teach on AI with the use cases, they're all very fresh, which is why you see me hesitating a little bit. It's probably 6 months to a year before we've really got a depository of use cases on implementation around AI, because it's so fresh and new. And but absolutely, we'll see what, I'll keep that in mind, and we'll see what we can build around the AI. It might be even something, we do for the conference. And maybe I can get somebody from Google or, to talk about it, or Microsoft. We can look into that. Okay. On that, any other topics came to mind in the discussion or on your own now? AI, from an implementation, any others? No? Okay. So I just got a couple of final things to mention. I won't bother going to the slides. At some point, the conference will be in person, but most likely this year, the conference will be virtual again. And we're looking, as everyone comes out of post-pandemic, how we can make the conference engaging, interactive. We're considering, for example, that we invite guest speakers. They only speak for a maximum 20 minutes, and then we have 30, 40 minutes of active discussion with them, so that the value is actually attending the conference virtually. So it's not just watching it a month later that you see a presentation, it's the value add of being there. We've got some topics we're already thinking about, some people we're already considering. Our first conference was 2 years ago. Headliners were Rita McGrath and Tony O'Driscoll, who are both on our board. We've got some other people who we're discussing with. I won't say any more than that at this point, because I don't want to overcommit. But the conference, will probably most likely be virtual this year. And then hopefully in 2 years' time, we'll be able to meet either London, Dubai, and Amsterdam, or Singapore, or Riyadh. We'll sort that one out later. The final thing just to share for today is, as we go forward, one of the best practices is to ask volunteers, and I'm not doing it for today, I'm just giving you a heads up. The body of knowledge is a living document. And we now have the book out, and that gives us the foundation. But as Yulina just mentioned, with AI, and you talked about other tools throughout the call, it needs to keep evolving. So we're also going to be reaching out for volunteers to help us continue to develop the course, look at new areas. All of us are passionate about learning and reading, and there may be articles you recommend or content. So that will be something we'll come back to you later in the year as well. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up in a few minutes. Let me just open it up for any final closing comments, reactions.
Thank you, Robin. For a start, I'm unhappy about, I just checked the course now and it's been closed. No access for the course materials after the 12 weeks or like, but we are certified, so we should have an access all the time on the course materials.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, Saad, I fully appreciate that. That's why we created the body of knowledge, because we don't, it's the, we made the decision, Antonio and I, not to build a platform, which would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we
Okay.
do use a partner who provide the learning. And that's why the body of knowledge duplicates the course.
Okay, thanks. For the other thing, I would like to say if 2 points, quickly point. One of them, if we can start, you know, like the PMI, having chapters in each areas of or countries of the
Yes.
world, and
Yeah.
that's what build the communities to help also share the ideas within this area and experiences and practical use of tools and things. Other than this, I will emphasize on the Strategy Implementation Institute can provide consultancy services through its certified members, certified people around the world, and that will help also within spreading the word about the strategy implementation, and also spreading the word. Just one small thing in the journey of developing and having more things inside the strategy implementation itself, and to develop it in the long way.
Yeah, Shukran. Definitely. So let me, the chapters is very much on our agenda. It's being virtual first. We actually, the members are so spread out, but we, you know, so we haven't got critical mass yet. So that may take a bit longer. The idea of the database for creating the consultancies, I think that's a great suggestion where SIPs can volunteer if they're happy to consult, and it can become a platform for SIPs to generate business. We're happy to do that. That's something definitely I'll follow up with on. All right. So we've been a small group today, so let me thank everyone. It's always a delight to connect, and one day I look forward to meeting you all in person. Have a wonderful start to the new year. Have a wonderful, those who celebrate the Chinese New Year, enjoy the additional holiday in a couple of weeks, and look forward to seeing you all next month. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.